Well, good Tuesday morning to everyone. Hope you're doing well today. We have the next game in the 1987 American League replay. We're at Fenway Park in Boston on this June the 3rd, 1987. Game between the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins. Game number 349 overall. And starting pitchers for today's game, it's going to be Les Straker for the Minnesota Twins and Bob Stanley for the Boston Red Sox. Stanley comes to this game 2-4. Straker comes in 3-3. As far as the teams go, Minnesota 24-27, Red Sox 19-32. Neither one of these pitchers are the best in the world in real season. Straker was 8-10 with a 4.37 ERA. Bob Stanley 4-15 with a 5.01 ERA. There are contrasts in styles as far as holding runners. Stanley combines with Gedman to be a -4. Straker combines with Salas to be a +4. But I don't think that the Red Sox really do a lot of running anyway, so it may not hurt them that much. Both catchers have propensity to give up pass balls. Gedman's a pass ball 12, and Salas is a pass ball 14. Straker, one of the few guys who has a high balk rating at 13, only a wild pitch rating of 5, but a balk rating of 13. Stanley's pretty typical 4 wild pitch and 0 balk. So say good morning to Dan, Dr. D, and Mr. Jeff. Good morning to each of you. A little bit late starting than I wanted to be. Tabby had other ideas. She wanted all of a sudden some attention this morning, so I had to appease her before I could come up here. And then when I got ready to start the stream, I realized I had not yet connected my headphones or my webcam. And so if you don't do that before you hit the stream to start, or to at least get it set up, you can plug them in later and won't recognize it. So basically I had to shut down or cancel the first one and redo the second one, which is why I made the thumbnail different. Made it a Bob Stanley thumbnail instead of a Strat-Box thumbnail. So that's the reason behind that. All right. Like I said, not really. Boston definitely not in contention. Minnesota is still in it. I mean, they're not that far out, and the American League West is so up in the air. It's not like you have dominant teams like the East does. But Oakland's in first place right now, but they're definitely gettable. So there's nothing that says that Minnesota can't make a run and get into the race. All right. Last thing to get started is to turn the Strat-O-Matic PC game on. I was semi-proud of myself that I limited my Cyber Monday shopping to, I only spent $26. So that was, for me, that's pretty good. There was a time back in the day where I would go crazy on Cyber Monday in these sports gaming community and buy up all kinds of crap that I didn't need and end up not playing. So felt a little bit better about that. Let's see here. So, but people can do what they want. It's your money, so do what you want. But whatever floats your boat, as they say. All right, so as we get this game started on the computer and everything is lined up, we're going to look at the total numbers for Bob Stanley. He is a 2-4 record with a 5.98 ERA, so he's doing a lot worse. He was a 5.01 real world. He's almost up to 6 in the replay. 56 innings pitched and 73 hits allowed. A lot of hits allowed for innings pitched, but he's going to see what he can do. Of course, some of that he's pitching in Fenway Park, which is not helping his cause. Singles are 19-15, and home runs are 7-10. So particularly the singles are going to be hard to avoid on ballpark checks. Well, there you go, Tim. Good deal there. Nothing wrong with that. Now I did, and the only company I bought from was Play.com. They had a couple of their $7 PDF things, which were pretty cool. So I bought some of those, particularly the fictional Baseball America sets. They had like the anthology going on, so I got a couple of those old ones, so I could start from the beginning, back to the very beginning of the whole thing. So that's the only thing I purchased. I didn't purchase anything from any other company. So, all right. So Dan Gladden will lead things off. He's hitting 236, 4 homers, 14 driven in. He hit 249 real world. But of course, before the first pitch is thrown, we have to have the ceremonial first sip. That has become a tradition on the channel, in the mornings anyway. And Jeff, that is some good coffee. All right. Hello, are you ready? Good to see you. Here's Dan Gladden against Bob Stanley, 6-6. That's a fly ball to left field, and Jim Rice will haul it in. Easy play, and we're underway. Here is Steve Lombardozzi, second baseman. Lombardozzi hitting 293 on the replay. 2 homers, 15 driven in. He only hit 238 real world, so he's definitely surpassing so far. 6-7. That's a 1-12 single. 13-20 is a line out. Devil dies in 18, so Stanley catches a break. Say line out to short. 1 away. Or 2 away, actually. 2 down. For Kirby, Union Gap Puckett. Puckett hitting 320 on the replay. 8 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 332 real world. 4-2, and that's a ballpark blast. That's bad news for Bob Stanley. It's a 1-10, and that's an 8, and Puckett has normal power. No baby wipes needed because it's not totally clean. It had to be some D20 action, but it's gone nonetheless. It counts. Kirby Puckett, home run number 9. Not dream number 9, but home run number 9 for Kirby Puckett. RBI number 27. The real season, he hit 28 home runs, I believe it was. Yeah, 28 home runs and 624 at bats. This was at bat 220 for him, so about 1/3, maybe a little over, slightly over 1/3. And he's got basically 1/3 of his home runs. He's got 10 home runs now and 28 on real world. So his pace for home runs is pretty much right on par with where it should be. Twins lead at 1-0. Thanks courtesy of Fenway Park. And here's Kent Hrbek. Hrbek hitting 306 on the replay. 14 homers, 40 driven in. He hit 285 real world. 3-6 for him. And that, oh, here we go. Now you can get the baby wipes out. 3-6. That's clean right there. 3-6. There's no, you don't even need the D20. Just move it out of the way. 3-6, and it's gone from Kent Hrbek. Back-to-back jacks off of Bob Stanley. And he's not helping his ERA one bit. Home run from Hrbek. That's his 15th of the season. RBI number 41. He hit 34 real world. So it's now 2-0 Twins. Back-to-back jacks off of Bob Stanley. One off the ballpark card and one straight off the batter card. Hello, Rick. Yeah, I'm not sure why he was beloved, and I don't even think he's a legitimate Hall of Famer myself. I think he got in for sympathy. But there's a lot better players that are currently on the list to get in the Hall of Fame, trying to get in, that are better than Kirby Puckett. So I'm not sure. There's a lot of guys. I mean, I was watching an old This Week in Baseball yesterday, and Bobby Doerr and Ernie Lombardi, they were inducting them into the Hall of Fame in 1986. I'm like, what? You're putting Bobby Doerr in the Hall of Fame, but you're leaving out Lou Whitaker? I mean, come on. There's some stuff here. There's a reason why to get in, because he didn't need to be in. That's the reason. All right, here is Gene Larkin, DH. He's hitting 375 on the replay. Only 32 at bats, though. Hit 266 real world. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. But 2 solo shots from Puckett and Hrbek give the Twins a 2-0 lead as we go into the bottom of the first. Twins 2, Red Sox coming to bat, and Les Moonstraker ends. He was 8-10 with a 437 earned run average on the season. 5.45, 36 and 45 hits. And leading off will be Dave Henderson of the Red Sox. He's been playing center field the last couple games instead of Ellis Burke, so I'm not sure what was going on there. but that's just the way the lineups were made. Henderson hitting 35 on the replay, 7 homers, 21 driven in. He only hit 234 real world. 1-7, and that's a solid single. There's an Omega there, but we're not in a clutch situation, so the single is good. Start off the bottom of the first for Mr. Henderson. He's no threat to run, though. Hardly any of these Red Sox, from what I can see, there should be no base stealing threats at all, so the +4 here probably won't even come into play. Here is Marty Barrett. He's one of the few that might be able to get a lead if he gets on. 4-10, and that's an in to 10. That's a 9. It's gone, except he has weak power, so it's not gone. It's going to be off the green monster in left center field, and he'll settle with a single, a long single. Henderson, let's see, that goes to center field. Puckett's a -4 arm. Henderson, with nobody out, they will hold him. So it ends up being a long single for Marty Barrett. And that'll bring up Wade Boggs. So first two are on. Red Sox trying to make up those runs very quickly. This could be an explosive game with these two pitchers pitching. You could need 10 runs to win this game. Here's Boggs. He's hitting 338 on the replay, which is a little low for him. 9 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 363 real world. So he's been underperforming as well. But a double play by Straker would get him a long way to get out of this inning. 1-9, and that's a ballpark blast for Wade Boggs. It's a 1-7. The Devil Die is a 5. You were right. You were right, Tribe. It should have been 2 stars. My bad. But I don't think it's going to matter. 1-9 is a ballpark blast off of Wade Boggs' card. Home runs for Fenway are 1-7, and that's a 5. 3-run home run from Wade Boggs, and the Red Sox just took the lead 3-2. So yeah, he should have been at third technically, but as it turns out, it doesn't matter because Boggs drove him in with a 3-run homer. For Boggs, that's home run number 10 on the replay. He had 24 real world. RBIs 24, 25, and 26. And the Red Sox lead 3-2, and there's still nobody out. So the Twins gave Les Straker a 2-run lead, and he couldn't hold it. And this could be a long. Hello, Mike. This could be a long ball game for the pitchers. Could also be a bullpen game. All right. Here is Jim Rice. Rice on the replay hitting 293, 4 homers, 23 driven in. It's a 6-6, and that's a fly to left. Finally get the first out of the inning. But if I go back to the previous game in this series, if I can find it here. Remember, the previous game played here at Fenway was the cycle game by Greg Gagne. So George Frazier went 3 innings in that previous game, so he's unavailable. And Tom Bolton went 4 innings, so he's unavailable. So they are missing a couple of pitchers in their bullpen that have to rest due to overusage. So starters may have to go longer than the managers would plan because they're playing one short in the bullpen. All right, here's Mike Greenwell. Greenwell is hitting 326, 8 homers, 20 driven in. That's on the replay. He hit 328 real world. So he's hitting 326 on the replay, 328 real world. Well, we got a hop and dice. We're going to re-roll that. 5-5, left-handed is a fly to left again. So once again, the left fielder, Dan Gladden, will haul it in. 2 quick outs after the 3-run homer. And that brings up Dewey Evans, the right fielder. Evans hitting 325 on the replay, 9 homers, 34 driven in. He at 305 real world. 3-5, and that's a walk. First walk issued by Straker. Keeps the inning going. And that'll bring up Billy Buck, first baseman. He's hitting 253 on the replay, 3 homers, 20 driven in. He hit 286 real world. Nothing on the Havoc. 6-6 against the lefty is another walk. So back-to-back walks by Straker after he gets the first 2 outs after the 3-run homer. He comes back with back-to-back walks. And now it's going to flip over to Rich Gedman, the catcher. Gedman hitting 143 on the replay. No homers, 5 driven in. He hit 205 real world. He hit 1 homer real world. He has not got a homer yet. He's about 1/3 through his season, a little bit more, almost halfway through the season, actually. 2-6, and that's a fly to center. That's going to end the inning. But the 3-run home run off the bat of Wade Boggs has given the Red Sox a 3-2 lead after 1 inning of play. This could be something. The previous game in this series was a 14-6 game where you had 20 runs and 32 hits. This may top that. Who knows? It was only 2-1 in that game after 1 inning, so we're ahead of that pace right now. Here's Tom Brunansky, the right fielder, hitting 279, 7 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 259 real world. 4-8 and more hitting. 1-9 is a double, 10-20 is a single. So a solid single for Tom Brunansky. And back come the Twins. Brunansky, he's got not much of a chance to run. That -4 from Stanley is going to kind of curb his appetite for trying to get a lead. So he won't try to get the lead. They will hold him on, but he won't try to get the lead. That's a 1, but Stanley has only a 4 wild pitch rating. So there's no wild pitch. So Roy Smalley playing third base today, giving Gary Gaetti the day off. Smalley not very good at 4.37. Smalley on the replay is hitting 259, 2 homers, 17 driven in. 275 hitter real season. 3-6 for Smalley. Struck him out. That's the second strikeout for Stanley. 1 away, and that sends us to the catcher, Mark Salas. Salas on the replay hitting only 146 and 41 at bats. A homer and 6 driven in. He hit 250 real season. 2-6, and that's a ground ball to third. It's a B, so the only play for Boggs is to go to second, but he can't turn the double play on the slow-moving Salas. That ball was just hit way too slow for a double play. But they do get the lead runner. Keeps the runner out of scoring position. And now Mr. Cycle, Greg Gagne, is up. They got him in the number 9 position. Last game he was hitting second. Now he's hitting 9th. Greg Gagne on the replay now hitting 386. He's just been tearing it up. 4 homers, 24 driven in. Only at 265 real world. Salas, of course, not going to be held at second base. 6-12. That's a ballpark blast on Stanley. It's a 1-10. That's a 3, and that's gone. Greg Gagne continues his hot hitting. He does it again. Look at it again. 6-12 on Stanley is a ballpark blast. 1-10. Double dies a 3. He has normal power. Greg Gagne, a 2-run home run, and he is just tearing things up almost to an unrealistic setting, but there's still a long way to go in his season. He's only had this is a bat 133. He's got 300 more bats at least coming. That's home run number 5 for Greg Gagne. RBIs 25 and 26, and the Twins reclaim the lead 4-3. And here comes Dan Gladden. 2 out bases are cleared. That's a 5-5 for Gladden, and that's going to fly it out to center field where Henderson makes the play, and the inning's over. But Twins get 2 on the 2-run blast from Gagne. And we go to the bottom of the second. It's 4-3. Straker back out, see what he can do. He's going to be facing the shortstop, Spike Owen, number 9 hitter for the Red Sox. Owen on the replay hitting 218, a homer and 6 driven in. He at 259 real world. Switch hitter 212, and that's a line out right to Mr. Gagne at short, and that's out number 1. 1 away, back to the top of the order. He singled and scored on the Boggs homer. So 1-8, and that's base on balls, and that's the 3rd walk issued by Straker. Not what you want to do when your team gives you the lead. Start walking, guys. Henderson will not be held on. Here's Marty Barrett. Barrett also singled his first time up. 1-4, and this time, though, it's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, 6-4-3, and that will end the inning. And in Fenway Park, that's got to be the pitcher's best friend to get you out of a jam. So Straker gets out of it, puts a 0 on the board for the Sox, and at the end of 2, it's 4-3 still with the score on that Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play. Top of the third we go. Steve Lombardozzi. We're very fortunate here. We're getting a very cold rain. It's like 36 degrees, so it's really miserable out there, but it is rain and not ice or snow. So we're fortunate in that aspect. Some of the western parts of the state, like around Charlottesville and more towards the mountains, they're getting some ice and snow, but here in the central part, we're just getting cold rain, which is better than the alternative, that's for sure. All right, here's Steve Lombardozzi. 6-6, and that's a fly to left field. Jim Rice will haul it in. 1 away. For Puckett. Homered his first time up. 6-5, and this time he's going to pop it up to Bill Buckner. Stanley going for a 1-2-3 inning, which would be a dramatic change from the first two. Here's Herbeck. 2-4 for Herbeck, and he grits the ground ball to Buckner, and that's going to do it. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Bob Stanley. Maybe he's found the magic. I don't know. Or maybe just got lucky. Go to the bottom of the third. 4-3. And Wade Boggs is up. He hit the 3-run homer his first time up, courtesy of Fenway Park. 4-3, and that's a ballpark single check. Well, you know, as a 19, he's going to get the single. So Boggs gets the base hit. Not putting him on any kind of a cycle alert because triples may be hard to come by for Boggs. Although he did hit 6 triples in the real season. His real world season, he hit 40 doubles and 6 triples, and that's what he needs. But on his card, boy, to find a triple on his card is kind of rough. I'm not sure where you find those triples. Oh, he's got it up here. Column 1, he's got a couple spots, but there aren't. The double die has to work out perfectly for him to get a triple, unless it comes off an outfielder X chance or something like that. So, not holding my breath on that just yet. All right, here's Jim Rice. Straker 4-4, and that's a ground ball third base X. That's Smalley. Usually it's Gaetti, who's a 1. You think about a double play here, but Smalley's a 4 E37. So you're just thinking, you're just hoping if you're the Twins, he could actually get to the ball because that would be a major victory. He's a 4 E37. 16, that works out. 4 and a 16 is only a fielder's choice, though, a G2. That's an 11. He's an E37 at third base, and there's an 11 right there. So the Twins automatically paying the price for having Roy Smalley at third base. It's a 1-base error. So instead of getting the fielder's choice, they get no one. E5. And you can bet if they are ahead late in the game, there will be a defensive substitution where you'll see Gaetti come in for defensive purposes. Right now, here's Greenwell. But if Straker can induce a double play, that's a 2, so chance for balk or pass ball. Straker does have a 13 balk rating, keep in mind. And that's what we're checking. So a 1-13, he's going to balk the runners into scoring position, which he does. So I was in the middle of a sentence saying about double play would get him out of a lot of trouble, and he just balks the runners into scoring position, takes away the double play. And now you got to deal with Greenwell with runners at second and third. The infield, that's another 2. I'm not going to let him balk twice. I will check for a pass ball, but we're not going to let him balk twice. It's a pass ball check on Salas, and he's a 14, so this could be a pass ball to get the runners to score. And it is. So talk about your havoc right there. First and second, nobody out, and a balk and a pass ball brings home a run and puts the other runner to third. Tie ball game. Tie ball game. Now the infield has come in with a runner at third and nobody out. They'll play the infield in against Greenwell, but we are tied at 4 apiece. 4-6, and that's a walk. So Straker really not helping his cause. That's a 4th walk. And that'll send up Dwight Evans. And now they're back for the double play with that runner on first base. They need outs. They don't have any. That's a 1 chance of a wild pitch. Straker's wild pitch rating is a 5. And he uncorks the wild pitch. Double Die came up 1 twice in a row. So how about Jim Rice? He reaches first base on the error, goes to second on a balk, third on a pass ball, and a wild pitch scores him. How is that for some havoc? Red Sox now lead it, and it takes away a potential double play as well. The Red Sox with 2 runs now lead it 5-4. Mike, I'm not doing back-to-back balks. That's not realistic to me. 5-10. Fly ball center field B. That'll keep everybody where they are. So that would, even without the wild pitch, that B would have scored the run. So that's the first out of the inning. Here comes Bill Buckner. Billy Buck. 5-4. That is a fly ball center field X. That's Puckett. He is a 1E6. Roll the D20 anyway to make sure it's not an F1. It's not. So he'll get to it. That's a 10. Shouldn't be a problem with the 10, I wouldn't think. It is not. So another fly ball to center. 2 down. And we're down to Rich Gedman. Clutch situation for Gedman with Greenwell still at second base. In the clutch, I don't think he has enough at-bats to rate in the clutch. He does not. So they're not even going to rate him for that. He's neutral on the clutch. Gedman, 4-7. Ground ball second base X. We're looking at Lombardozzi. He's a 2E18. He was not holding the runner at second, so the 2 stays with him. Doesn't go to a 3, and he might make a difference. 2 and a 5, he actually might get to this. He does, because he wasn't holding the runner on, so the pound sign's irrelevant. It will be a G3. That's a 9, and he is an E18. E18, there's no 9, so Lombardozzi gets to the ball barely to make the play, but 2 runs come in, and that inning had a balk, a pass ball, and a wild pitch all factor in. And we go to the 4th inning with the score now, Boston 5 and Minnesota 4. Gene Larkin will lead things off for the Twins against Mr. Stanley. Drink some more coffee before it gets cool. Wet the old whistle there. Gene Larkin struck out his first chance, 2-5 for Larkin. It's a 1-2 triple. Fly ball to right's going to end up being the case with that 4. So 1 away. And I don't know if you guys, how many of you guys are familiar with History Maker Baseball or even follow it or whatever. I know Steve Tower was kind of the not pioneer in that, I guess, for YouTube, because he was the first one that really promoted the game, and especially the fictional part of it. So I am taking suggestions on team names for a fictional set. So if anybody has any good team names or team cities and names combinations, I'll take some. Hello, Rick. You're not going to see any snow in Florida, I don't believe. 4-2, and that's going to be a ballpark blast on Bob Stanley. He's got normal power. It's 1-10, but that's a 15, so Stanley catches a break. Just a warning track fly ball right in front of the green monster, fielded by Jim Rice for the first out, or second out rather. So a large out there. Here is Smalley, 6'10", switch hitter. That's a catcher X. Catcher is Gedman. He's a 3E15, but nobody's on base, so that probably won't come to play too much, you wouldn't think. 3-11, it's probably going to be a pop-up or foul out or something. 3-11 is a foul out. That's a 9, and he is an E15. That could be problems. E15, well, there's no 9, so it is a foul out to end the inning. Yeah, Dan, I know it's a certain niche or whatever that word is. But there are people that love it, and some people can't figure out what the purpose is. I was one of those in the beginning that just didn't see the reason behind it, but then once I did it, I had a lot of fun with it because it's really a big sandbox that you can do whatever you want to do with. Strat for realism and History Maker just to write your story. That's what the name of the game is to write your own story. Make your own history. That's the reason why it's called History Maker Baseball. All right, here is Spike Owen, the shortstop. 6'9", switch hitter, and that's a ballpark blast, but Spike Owen has weak power. 1-17, it would have been a home run, but he's got weak power, so Spike Owen will just get the single. But it's better than what he usually does, so he's on, and he's actually one of the few guys that might actually try to steal. He needs a 2, 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. 11, he gets picked off. Call it stealing, whatever you want to call it, but 2, 4, 5, or 6, he gets the lead. He gets the lead with a 6, so he's going to go. He's a 15, being held as a 13, but the +4 is a 17. 1-17, Salas's T rating is only a 2, so it's not a big risk to throw down. 1-17, he's safe. And he's in there. Stolen base for Spike Owen. So now the go-ahead run, or the, not the go-ahead run, but the another, what's the word for it? I can't even think of the word for it off the top of my head. Not an insurance run, because it's kind of early for insurance right now, but I guess you could say an additional run is in scoring position. Here's Dave Henderson. He is singled and walked. It's 2-9, and that's another Giovanni's tail. Oh, it would have been had he not stolen the base. That's why you steal the base, not just necessarily get in scoring position, but it's also to avoid this. That would have been a double play. As it is, it's just a 6-3 ground out with the runner still at second. But without that stolen base, you get 2 quick outs. So there's 1 away now. Runner still at second base for Marty Grinnin Barrett. Barrett singled and hit into a double play as last time up. 3-6 for Barrett. 1-10 is a single. 11-20 is a line out. That's a 1. Double dies 1 again, so it's a base hit, but it's only 1 star. So Spike Owen will stop at third base. Runners at the corners with only 1 out for Wade Boggs. A double play would get them out of the inning, so they're playing for that double play. Of course, Boggs is homered and singled in the game. 1-6, and there's a triple 1-2, but that's a 9, so he'll settle with a double. And he's a triple away from the cycle, but he'll probably never get it. It's going to be very, very difficult to get that triple. The double will score Spike Owen. Marty Barrett at first base runs pretty well. He was being held. Let's see here. That makes him a 14. The double is assumed to go to center, so that's Kirby Puckett -4 arms, so they will hold Barrett at third base. But it's an RBI double from Wade Boggs to make it a 6-4 ball game. And now the Twins bullpen is active. We'll look at their bullpen and see who they might want to go to. Let me see who pitched the last game here. Frazier pitched 3 innings, so they've got plenty of rest for the other guys. So Mark Portugal, their long reliever, is loosening in the bullpen. The only guy not available is George Frazier. All right, so Jim Rice is up, second and third, 1 out. The infield is in. Jeremiah, you saying they do have that online somewhere? I can Google it. Baseball team name generators. All right, here is Jim Rice. And the infield is in for the Twins. The infield is in. 3-8 for Rice. He will walk, and that's going to load the bases. That, I believe, is walk number 5 for Straker. He's just having all kinds of problems. Mike Greenwell is up. He doesn't get Greenwell, I believe he's gone because Portugal will probably come in and face Evans. But he's going to try to get Greenwell with the bases loaded. They're back for the double play again. 6-7, and that's a 1-9 single. 10-20 is a line out. That's an 11. So he catches a break with a line out. Everybody stays put. 2 away. Oh, I'll have to look that up, Jeremiah. Thank you for the heads up. I'll have to do some Googling. I know in the trivia questions, Jeff usually says no Googling, but I think for that purpose, Googling is safe. Or does anybody else use anything besides? I mean, there used to be a thing called Bing or something. I don't know if there's any other search engine. What search engines are out there other than Google? I'm just so used to going to Google, so. But maybe there's other search engines out there. All right, here's Dewey Evans in a clutch situation with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And let's see, in the clutch, Evans gets 1 hit on a 2-10. Everywhere else he is neutral. Duck, duck, go. Okay, that's a cool one. Cool. That's right. I think Danica Patrick did an advertisement for Duck, duck, go one time. I thought there was something called Bing at one time. That may not be a thing anymore, but I thought there was a couple years ago a site named Bing that you could do it on. Say 2-7, and that's a walk, and he's gonna force in a run, and that's gonna be it for Straker. I don't think we can go any further with him. He's gonna give up his 7th run. Bases are still loaded, but when you start walking 6 guys in 4 innings, that's about the time. I'm surprised the Strat-O-Matic computer does not list him as being tired, but they have not. And actually, instead of Portugal with the lefty up there, they're going to bring in the Colonel, Joe Klink, just to get out of the inning and have Portugal start the next inning fresh. So Joe Klink will be coming on, the Colonel, who knows nothing. And he is a -2 on the whole. Not that that matters now. So we'll get the gory details at the end of the inning off the computer. Okay, so Bing is still a thing. All right. So I got a couple options there. Okay, so we're going to the Colonel, Joe Klink, out of the bullpen. Inherits a tough situation. Bases loaded, 2 outs to facing the lefty Billy Buckner. You can see on his real world, he was 0-1 with a 665 earned run average. On the replay, he's 0-0 with a 463 earned run average. Real world, he pitched 23 innings so far. He's pitched 12 in the replay. But he's got a tough task facing Buckner with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And 2 already in. 7-4 Red Sox threatening to blow it open. 2-5, and that's a ground ball to third. Boy, he almost hit the clutch result there. Just missed it. 2-5 is a ground ball to third, and Smalley was able to make the play and cap it at 2. But that's going to be it for Klink. His job was actually he might come in. He might stay in to face Gedman. I take that back. They may let him pitch another inning. They may let him go an inning and a third. It's possible. Wait and see how it plays out. But we can't get the gory details out of the way now on Straker because it just wasn't pretty. So according to the Strat-O-Matic computer, go to the box score. Straker is going to go 3 2/3 innings, give up 7 hits and 7 runs. 6 were earned because one of them came in on a pass ball. Let's see here, 6 walks and no strikeouts. Boy, that's talk about an ugly line. That's just not good. Not good at all. That's just plain old terrible for Les Straker. So he's out of there. Bob Stanley, the beneficiary of all this run support, but he has to make it through this inning to qualify for the win. He's going to face Salas and Gagne start things off. 2-9. That's a double 1 to 10. That's a 12, though, so it'll be a leadoff single for Salas as he starts things off. Morning, Kathy. Got my coffee here. Starting to get cool, though. I'm going to have to be waiting for the way these runs are scoring. It's going to take a while to get to the 7th inning stretch, so my coffee's getting cold and colder. I prefer the pitching duels, but when you take 1987 American League and put them in Fenway Park with poor pitching, you're going to get this. Here's Gagne. Homered his first time up. 2-6, and this time he hits into the Giovanni's Taylor shop, tailor-made double play of the game. 6-4-3. Double play. That put the kibosh on any thoughts of a rally this inning for the Twins. Now it's 2 outs, bases empty for Dan Gladden. That's a 6-9. That's a single. Single for Gladden. He's one of the few that might run against Stanley. 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. Doesn't get the lead, so he'll hold. And here's Lombardozzi. 4-8 against Stanley. 1-9 is a double. 10-20 is a single. That's a double, but it's 2 stars only. So the runner cannot score. Now, but how big was that double play that was turned? That saved a couple of runs, as it turns out. Stanley not out of the woods yet. He's got to face Puckett with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Clutch situation for Puckett. And in the clutch, Puckett's not good. He loses hits on 1-2, 1-7, and 1-8. So he needs to avoid column 1, does Mr. Puckett. And he did. 6-5, but it's a pop out to first base. Same thing he did on the 3rd inning. He hit that 6-5 result. And Stanley gets out of it. So now Stanley officially the pitcher of record for the Red Sox. He would qualify for the win, which would improve his record to 3-4 if the Red Sox keep the lead the rest of the way without giving it up. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Was there a trade or a free agent with the Mets? I haven't been keeping up, so I don't know what's been going on with that. But all right, here's Rich Gedman, lefty, 6'3", fly ball left field X. We're looking at Gladden. He's a 2 E5, 2 and an 18. He'll get to that. E5 and a 9 for a left fielder. Yeah, it's not a problem. He makes the catch. So Gedman is out of there. Here's Spike Owen, the shortstop. That's a 2-9 against the lefty. He grounds to short. Gagne is there. So the Colonel doing very well. Gets the first 2 outs of the inning, and now he gets to face Dave Henderson. They still don't want to start Portugal without a clean inning, so they'll start Portugal in the 6th. But they want to get Klink to get through the inning. 6-9, and he might. Ground ball shortstop X. Gagne's a 2E24. He can get out of the inning this way. 2E24. 2 and a 2. Double die. Might have hurt him, though. Let's see. 2 and a 2. That's going to be a base hit. And that's a 4. That's an interesting number. 4 and an E24. And there is a 4 right there. So Gagne, a single plus an error on Gagne. And that will put Henderson at second base. Single plus the E6. And now that's the second error of the game on the Twins. That'll bring up Barrett in now a clutch situation. And in the clutch for Barrett against lefties, he loses a couple of hits here, 3-5 and 3-8. Also on 2-8. So a couple different spots. You lose that. Klink to Barrett, 2-6, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases for Wade Boggs. Bases are loaded. This will be the last batter for Klink. They can't go on with him if he gives up this run. They may have to go to a different pitcher other than Portugal. They might end up going to Atherton just in case. But right now, Wade Boggs with the bases loaded and 2 outs against the Colonel Joe Klink. In the clutch for Boggs, he loses hits on 1-8 and 110. 5-8, lefty is a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Lombardozzi, 2E18 to get out of the inning. Let's see, 2 and an 8 for Lombardozzi. 2 and an 8 should be okay. Yep, G2. That's an 11, and this side. E18 and 11. There is no 11. Good play. Lombardozzi gets him out of the jam. That's it for the Colonel. He's out of here. But he did a fine job at inning in the third. Yeah, I misread that, Kathy. I thought I saw 6 instead of 5, but not a problem. We can set you up here real quick as soon as I finish up this half inning. All right. So through 5 complete, it is the Red Sox leading the Twins 7-4. And now if you'll turn your attention to the chat box, Kathy does have a trivia question for us before we begin the top of the 6th, and while Bob Stanley does his warm-up tosses. And I do the numbers on Klink. Let's see, Klink, 1 hit. All right, so here's the question. Let me pull it up here real quick. What were the 2 different years in which every game of the World Series was played in the same stadium? That would be 1944 and 2020, I believe. I know the Cardinals and the Browns shared the same stadium in St. Louis. And, of course, because of COVID, they played the same thing in Texas' stadium. I think it was Texas' stadium. So I'm guessing 44 and 2020. But TriFan has 2020. Are You Ready has 44 and 20. Wait for Kathy to give us confirmation before we get going here for the top of the 6th. Portugal will be the new pitcher for the Twins in the bottom of the 6th. And Portugal, the +9 hold, not very good at all. Oh, Kathy says 44 in 1921. Well, I thought 2020 was played in the same thing too because of the COVID. Okay, 2020. Okay, so I didn't realize 21 was who played in 21. Was that the Yankees and the Giants both at Polo Grounds? Is that what that was? Because but I thought the Yankees had built Yankee Stadium by then. Maybe that's going way back before. I know it's with history on it, so I don't really know. But I appreciate the question certainly. All right, so Bob Stanton, my coffee is really getting cold. I'm hoping the 6th inning goes by quick. Yankees and Giants in 21. Okay. Yeah, Jeff was on top of the 21 one. I had no idea about that. All right, it's a 7-4 game, and here comes Herbeck. Stanley's actually pitched 3 shutout innings, but this is his fatigue inning right now. Oh, Yankee Stadium opened in 23. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. 3-9 for Herbeck is going to be a leadoff walk. That's the first ding against Bob Stanley. I was thinking Yankee Stadium opened up earlier than that, but it makes sense now. Thinking about the Yankees and the Giants would have shared the Polo Grounds. All right. So that will send up Gene Larkin, designated hitter. Twins need to make some hay here. 6-8 switch hitter batting left. That's a single to left field. That's what the Twins need. Get base runners. Station to station running by Herbeck. Now the Red Sox bullpen starting to stir down there. Gardner did go 2 innings yesterday in their previous game, so he's going to be the back end of the bullpen. Bolton went 4, so he's unavailable. So they have two righties, Crawford and Schiraldi, and they have a lefty in Sambito. And so Steve Crawford, the right-hander, is loosening in the Red Sox bullpen. Steve Crawford. If Bob Stanley can't get out of the mess that he put himself in now with a single and a walk. So that'll bring up got ahead of myself here. Undo that last play. I gave Bernansky a single on top of the single that I gave to Larkin. So had to retract that one. But another base hit or a walk or whatever would make Stanley fatigued. 4-5, and that's a ground ball second base C, so it acts like a bunt where the runners do move up into scoring position on the ground out. So a base hit could score 2 runs and cut this to a 7-6 lead. Here's Roy Smalley. Infield is back with a 3-run lead. They need outs. 6-12. That's a ballpark blast for Roy Smalley. He does have normal power. A switch hitter, he needs a 7 or less, but that's a 19. But it does turn into a sacrifice fly to right field. So doesn't get the home run, but he gets the sac fly. And that will score Herbeck. Cuts the lead to 7-5. With now 2 outs and Larkin in scoring position. So it is a clutch at bat for Salas. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 1-5, and I think that's it, 1-5. Stanley hanging on by a thread. 1-10, and that's a ballpark blast for Salas. It's again a 1-7, and that is a 7. That is gone, and so is Bob Stanley, all at the same time. Look at it again, 1-10, ballpark blast. Fenway Park 1-7 for lefties, and he's got a 7. And of course, he has normal power. He wouldn't have that on his card. So a two-run home run from Mark Salas, and we are tied at 7 apiece. It gets Straker off the hook. It costs Stanley the win. And Stanley, of course, is fatigued now. So we can get Stanley out of there. Or they're going to let him try to finish the inning, actually. He only needs 1 out. They'd rather have Crawford start the inning fresh. So they're going to let him pitch to Gagne. Oh, don't need that. Bases are empty. Gagne 2-4, and that's a ground ball to short, so he gets out of the inning, and now that's going to be it for Stanley. He's going to go 6 complete. But he gets a no. Actually, he could still get the win because if the Red Sox score in the bottom of the 6th, those runs will be given to him. But we go to the bottom of the 6th, and it is now a 7-7 ball game. Mark Portugal will be your new pitcher. We'll get the numbers on. No, are you ready? No, I don't play the robbing the home runs. Let's see here. There's a ground ball to short. Let's clean that up. We'll go to the box score and get the numbers on Bob Stanley, which were not good, obviously. Same with Straker. Stanley goes 6 innings, gives up 9 hits, 7 runs, all earned, 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. So now Mark Portugal is going to come into the ball game for the Twins. And we'll get the numbers on Portugal. Portugal on the real season 1-3 with a 777 earned run average. On the replays 2-6 with a 643 earned run average. So interesting, he had 4 decisions in the real season, 1-3. He's had 8 decisions in the replay already. But he's pretty much at his max for innings pitched because he's pitched 42 innings in the replay, only pitched 44 real world. So I'm assuming he's at the back end of his appearances on the season. Let me make sure he doesn't have a start left. I hope he doesn't. If he does, and I won't use him because I'm going to be overusing him. No, he's already had his 7 starts, so he's at the tail end. I'm not sure when he officially gets demoted, hurt, cut, whatever, but he's in there now to face Jim Rice. And Portugal is, like I said, a +5 hold. But again, the Red Sox don't run a whole lot, so that may or may not come into play. All right, here's Jim Rice. He's going to lead things off against Mr. Portugal. 1-5, and that's a fly to center field. Puckett is there. And this is a very typical Fenway game, 7-7 here in the 6th inning. Here's Greenwell. He's actually 0 for 2. 3-4, and he's going to be 0 for 3 with a pop out to Gagne, short. 2 down, and that takes us to Dwight Evans. Steve Crawford will be coming in to pitch for the Red Sox in the 7th inning. So we'll get him ready. He was a -4, so that makes him a -5. All right, so here's Dewey Evans with 2 outs and the bases clear. 3-7, and he's going to walk, so that's going to keep the inning going. Dewey Evans will walk it. He's no threat to run, so he will not be held. Here's Billy Buck. Chance to see what Buckner can do. 1-2, and he fouls it out to Salas to end the inning. So at the end of 6 complete, nothing's been decided. It is 7-7 here at Fenway, in a typical Fenway kind of game. So we go to the top of the 7th. New pitcher is Steve Crawford. We'll bring him on in the computer and check what his replay stats are compared to real world. In the 87 season, he was 5-4 with a 5.33 ERA and no saves. In the replay, he's pitching a little bit better. He's 2-3 with 2 saves, and his ERA is only 4.34, so a full run less in the replay. So he's done a little bit better when it comes to that. And he'll be facing top of the order, Gladden, Lombardozzi, and Puckett for the Twins. Crawford, 2-5. That's a ground ball to short, and that's 1 away as Spike Owen will field it. Gladden is retired. Here's Lombardozzi. He's 1 for 3. 1-11, and that's a fly to left field for Rice. 2 down. So Crawford comes in, gets the first 2 outs right away. Here's the dangerous Puckett. 2-11, and that's a fly to right. So 1-2-3 inning turned in for Crawford as he takes care of the Twins pretty quickly. And that will take us to the 7th inning stretch with the score tied at 7 apiece. We'll be taking a 7th inning stretch break to heat my coffee and get that refreshed, and me just to stand up and stretch a little bit after sitting down for all this time. So we're going to go ahead and go to that. When we get back and the top of the 8th begins, we'll have a question from Jeff. But other than that, we're going to be having the take me out to the ball game while I get my coffee, or what the guys from India, before I got laid off, they were what they called our offshore partners. Their phrase was "do the needful." So they would send an email to us asking me to do the needful, basically saying, do what you got to do. I've set this up for you. Now you do what you got to do. So "do the needful" was a popular phrase. So I need to do the needful and heat my coffee. So anyway, we have the 7th inning stretch. We're tied at 7. And as soon as I get this going, I'll be going down and getting my coffee and be right back. Be about a minute and a half while we do the take me out to the ball game. Okay, coffee has been refreshed. And we are ready for the bottom of the 7th inning. And it'll be Gedman, Owen, and Henderson, the batters. Hello, Robert. Good to see you. So there is possible. We're in the 7th inning, so obviously pinch hitting is an option. Let's since we're getting closer to this side of the score sheet, let me move this over just a touch so we make sure that score sheet does not get cut off. Sometimes later innings that far right hand column does get cut off. If it does, I will move it when needed. Right now, I'm just happy I have fresh, warm coffee on this cold, rainy day. And now Mark Portugal will start his 2nd inning of work. He did pretty well in the 1st inning he played or pitched. He only walked 1 batter. Got through everything else pretty simply. Here's Gedman. 5-7 to the left. He's a ground ball second base X. That's Lombardozzi. He's a 2 E18. Lombardozzi. 2-18 is fine. The E18, and that's a 12. E18, there is a 13, but no 12. So Lombardozzi will make the play on Gedman. Whoops. He will make the play on Gedman, and there's 1 away. For Spike Owen, and with the score tied, the Red Sox will keep Owen in the game for his defense and let him hit. He's 1 for 3, switch hitter. To 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base extra going right back to Lombardozzi again, 2E18. 2 and a 3, that's a little bit different. Horse of a different color, maybe. But he does get to it. 2 and a 3 is a G3, but this 16 might be problems. He's an E18 and a 16. The 16, nope, that's an 18, right? Yep, that's an 18. So 16's okay. So Lombardozzi fielded a bad hop, but stuck with it. And there are 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And here comes Hindu, Dave Henderson. He has singled twice and walked. Also grounded to short. Did score the first run of the game. But he's up there now with bases empty and 2 outs, so he might be looking for the long ball. 2-7, but he strikes out in the quest for the long ball. He struck out. So that will end the inning. We go to the top of the 8th, the score tied at 7. If you will turn your attention to the chat box, I believe Jeff has a question for us to ponder while Steve Crawford does his warm-up tosses in the top of the 8th. It'll be Herbeck, Larkin, and Brunansky in the top of the 8th for the Twins in this 7-7 ball game. Actually got a little bit of pitching that inning. Two of the last 3 innings, we had shutouts going here. All right, so looking at the question, it says, whoops, hold on. What rule changes were made after Ray Chapman was fatally beamed by Carl Mays in 1920? Bonus question for whoever gets the first question correct. Let's see. What rule changes were made? Was the mound moved or moved back or something? I know it wasn't batting helmets because, or at least it wasn't mandatory for batting helmets because a lot of the guys didn't wear batting helmets back in the day. I mean, they may have been instituted right then, but I was thinking it wasn't batting helmets, but it could have been. Who knows? That's what I thought. They came later. So I'm thinking it was like the mound got moved back or something, but it's probably something more obscure than that. So I don't know. Hello, MPC. That's a new name. Hello, Andrew. Good to see both of you guys. Oh, the spitball was banned. Okay. That's very good, Andrew. I wasn't even thinking about a spitball. But I think people still use a spitball. It was banned, but I think people still used it to try to get away with it. I mean, look at Gaylord Perry, Exhibit A. All right, here's Kent Herbeck in a 7-7 ball game against. Thank you, Jeff, for the trivia question, by the way. Oh, they had a designated spitter. Is that what you're saying? Instead of the designated hitter, we had a designated spitter. You could designate one guy to throw the spitball. That's interesting. All right, here's Herbeck. He has homered and walked, also grounded to first. 4 nines, a fly to center field, hauled in out there by Hindu. One away here in the top of the 8th. And that's going to bring up Gene Larkin, designated hitter. 1-5 for Larkin. He's going to ground it to Buckner, take it to the bag himself. 2 quick outs. And Jeff has a bonus question. How long did Chapman live after he was beaning? After he was beaned, I mean. And that I don't know. I don't know the time frame on that. Somebody else might, though. Here is, maybe Andrew knows because he answered the first part right. Here's Brunansky, 5-8, and that is a strikeout for Steve Crawford. So Crawford retired all 6 he has faced to this point, really settling down the Boston pitching staff. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Portugal back out. Will pitch again. He's pitched 2 innings, but this is his fatigue inning. Keith Atherton, the right-hander, is loosening in the Twins bullpen just in case Portugal should struggle. Here's Barrett. It's a 1-5. That's a fly to center field that Puckett puts away. Oh, 12 hours. Okay, he went 12 hours. So Puckett makes the catch. Whoops, now I hit the wrong button. Get back over here to the flyouts. Puckett makes the catch, 1 away, and here's Wade Boggs. Again, I don't hold out much hope for a triple on Boggs because he has to get a 1-5 or a 1-6, and then the D20 has to be really, really outrageously at the far end of the spectrum to do anything. Well, that's a hold up there, so we're going to re-roll that because that die got held up, so we'll try again. It's a 2-6, not a 1-6. It's going to be a single for Boggs, so he gets his 4th hit of the game. And now that'll send up Jim Rice. Atherton is ready if they want to bring him in. They're going to try to get Portugal through the inning, though. 2-6, and that's a strikeout. So he gets the strikeout on Rice, 2 down. And that's going to send up Mr. Greenwell with a runner at first and 2 away. And Boggs, not a very good runner, not very fast, not being held on. However, the fact that he's not being held on makes him a 13, and with 2 outs, it becomes a 15. So actually, on an extra base hit, he's got a chance to score. Here's Greenwell. 6-7, and that is a ground ball to shortstop X, but he was not being held on officially with Boggs, so that means the shortstop Gagne keeps his 2E24. So it's up to Gagne to make the play, a 2E24, and on a 2, as long as it's a 3 or higher, he makes the play. So we'll get that out of the way. And it is. So now, 2E20. So it's a 24 error rating. So 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18 are what he has to avoid. And he does with a 13. So he danced all around it. He definitely danced all around it. 6, 15, 15, 17, and 18, he got a 13. So Gagne will make the play. And that'll be all for Portugal. He's going to go 3 innings, and he's done. And it'll either be Atherton in the 9th if their score is still tied, but if Minnesota takes the lead, they'll bring in Reardon. But Portugal did very well for himself. 3 innings pitched. He had 1 hit and a walk. I believe he struck out 2. Gave up nothing else. So we go to the top of the 9th here in Boston. Crawford back out. This is his fatigue inning. So we'll keep an eye on that. It'll be Smalley, Salas, and Gagne unless the Twins want to use a pinch hitter. So we'll have to figure out if the Twins wish to do that or not. Check who's on the bench. Right now, Smalley, pretty good hitter, though. So I'll go ahead and let him swing away. against Crawford. 112, and that's a low max to second base, but again, nobody on base, so just one out. But a low max nonetheless. And that'll bring up Salas. Mark Salas. Salas homered his last time up, a big 2-run homer that tied the game. That's a 3-8 for Salas against the right-hander, and that's a ground ball to short. Spike Owen is there. And that'll bring up Gagne. 2 outs and the base is clear for Gagne. 4-8, and that's a fly to center field. So how about that? Steve Crawford, 3 shutout innings for Steve Crawford. He might possibly come back and pitch a 4th inning if it's because he really didn't face that many. He only faced 9 batters. So he has full endurance to go a 4th inning if they so choose. Right now for the Twins, though, they will move on from Les Straker and bring on right-hander Keith Atherton. It'll be Atherton coming on. Atherton on the real season was 7-5 with a 454 earned run average. Keith Atherton. Let's bring him on the computer. See how he's doing on the replay. He's got to face Dwight Evans to start the inning in the bottom of the 9th. So Atherton is now in. And on, like I said, 7-5, 454 ERA and 2 saves. He's done horribly on the replays. 1-5 with a 10.13 earned run average, although he does have 3 saves. But that 10.13 is brutal. So Atherton is on. He's got a 0 hold, which makes him a +2. So dangerous territory here. Evans will lead it off, followed by Buckner and Gedman to start off here. Are you ready? I play it by if there's a low max, I go by the rules. It's not automatically a triple play. You have to roll some other things in super advanced to get a triple play. Hello there, Philip. Good to see you. Here's Dewey Evans starting the bottom of the 9th, tied at 7 against the new pitcher Atherton. 6-6 for Atherton is a strikeout. There's a dot there, but that's his first batter face, so obviously he's not tired. So the strikeout is a good one, and they get Dewey Evans. He's out of there, and here comes Bill Buckner. So we could be looking at extra frames here at Fenway. 3-9 for Buckner. 3-9 is a ground ball to Lombardozzi, so 2 quick outs for Rich Gedman. Two quick outs, and here's Gedman. 3-5 for Gedman, and that's a ground ball to Gagne, so we do have extra innings. We will go to the 10th, and that means that Steve Crawford will pitch his 4th inning because he gave up nothing. I'm going to actually move. Well, no, I'll keep it this way, and I'll just move the card if I need it. I don't like to cover up what's happened so far if I can avoid it, but sometimes it's unavoidable. Let's see here. Top of the 10th we go. Free baseball, as they say, here at Fenway. So let me see if I can bring this up a hair, and maybe that will give us some more range on the cards to be able to see the cards clearly. I think that's a better deal there. So we'll see if we can go from here. Top of the order for the Twins, it'll be Gladden, Lombardozzi, and Puckett, unless we want to pinch hit for maybe Lombardozzi, which is possible. They do have Al Newman that can play second base, so they could pinch hit with a lefty perhaps. We'll see. They might use Lombardozzi to bunt if Gladden gets on, so we'll see. Crawford to Gladden, that's a 2-8, and that's a solid single for Dan Gladden. 2-8 is a solid single, and he will be looking to run despite the -4, the -5 here. It's going to be a minus. It'd be a 1-11 if he got the jump. Boy, that's tough. But Lombardozzi is actually an A bunter, so we're not going to pinch hit. We're going to let Lombardozzi bunt. course, everybody in the stadium knows he's going to bunt, so it becomes a B bunter because of that. But they still like their chances when it comes to something like that. So make sure there's no havoc. There is not. So we go to the bunt chart, see who's going to field it. It's a 2, so it's going right back to the pitcher, Crawford. And he's a B bunter, so basically 9 or less, he's in good shape. He gets a 5, which is a good sacrifice. So it's a good sacrifice right back to the pitcher, Crawford. And he'll throw it to Barrett, covering first base, 1-4 on the sacrifice. So Gladden, with good speed at second base, will be held on, trying to cut down his chances of scoring on a base hit. And here comes Puckett. Hey, Joel, good to see you. 2, balk or pass ball. That is a potential balk on Crawford. And I've got to see from the computer what his balk rating is. Maybe it's a 0. It is. He's a 6 wild pitch and a 0 balk, so there is no balk there. So remember, Gladden is being held on, so if we get a pound sign or any kind of thing like that, that's going to get through for a hit. We get a 311 for Puckett. 311 is a ballpark single check. It's 1-15, but that's a 17. So how about that? That's a liner to short on the failed ballpark check because of that 17. And now here's Herbeck, but they will walk Herbeck intentionally. They won't deal with him. They'll turn it all. They'll put it all on Gene Larkin. So Gene Larkin will get the call with the bases loaded. All right, now why did this do what it did here? Hold on. What is going on here? All right, so Gladden singled. And then Lombardozzi did the sac bunt. And then the Puckett line to short. Then the intentional walk to Herbeck. And now we're straight with Gene Larkin. So Gene Larkin is up with 2 outs rather. Clutch situation for Larkin. In the clutch, he loses a couple hits here, 2-7 and 2-8. Crawford to Larkin, 2-7. And look at this. It's the anti-clutch monster. Just got him. Single to left on a 2-7, but the anti-clutch symbol, that omega symbol's right there. So the anti-clutch comes into play, and he will just pop it up to second base. And Crawford's going to be done. That's 4 innings for Crawford. We can't expect him to go any more than that. But Crawford, 4 shutout innings of relief. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that from your pitcher. 4 shutout innings for Crawford. And now we go to the bottom of the 10th. Get the numbers on Crawford first to clean him up. It won't take long because he didn't give up much. He gave up 1 hit. The 1 walk was intentional, and he struck out just the 1. Gave up nothing else. The 0 was the big thing there. So Atherton's coming on, and I think we're going to get a pinch hitter for Spike Owen. Going to the Boston bench and see who they have available. They're going to bring up Don Baylor to pinch hit. And coming in to play shortstop will be Glenn Hoffman. So the first substitution of the game for it's by the Red Sox, as Baylor will pinch hit here in the 10th for Spike Owen. And if it goes to a bottom of the 11th, Glenn Hoffman would come in to play short in the 11th, if it gets to that. Like a caveat there. So Don Baylor getting the pinch hitting. So we'll bring in Baylor on the computer. See what he's done on the replay. Spike Owen was 1 for 4 in his time. So we go to Baylor. In the real season, Baylor was a .245 hitter with 16 home runs as a DH only. And now, on the replay, he's hitting .238 with 5 home runs. I didn't know that, Jeff. I didn't know that. All right, here's Don Baylor against Atherton. We get a 4-8, and that's a strikeout by Atherton. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. He's just starting the second inning of work, so he's not tired. This is his fatigue inning, but he hasn't given up anything yet. So here's Dave Henderson, top of the order. 2-6 for Henderson, and he's going to draw a base on balls. So he is the winning run on base, but he will not be held. He's not a very good runner unless they want to bring in a pinch runner for him. They could bring in Ellis Burks, perhaps. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to pinch run for Henderson with Ellis Burks. Very good runner. He's got a chance to get a steal here and get in scoring position because of the +2 hold rating. So Ellis Burks is going to come into the game as a pinch runner. Oops, right here, pinch runner. The 3 in the wrong spot there, didn't I? Pinch runner, and Marty Barrett is up to the plate. But Burks will pinch run. And if it goes to the 11th, he will just slide right into the center field position. So Burks looking for the lead. And according to this, he needs a 5 or a 6 to get the good lead. He doesn't get it, so it's a moot point, but he still runs pretty fast. They're going to have to hold him on, and that could open up a spot for Marty Barrett on a ground ball. Just the fact that they're holding the runner on can make a difference on an X check. No question about it. So I'll bring in Burks on the computer just to make sure I don't forget that. Burks is now the runner at first base. And here's Marty Barrett. It's a 1-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop. And because they couldn't get the steal, we've got a tailor-made double play, 6-4-3, and we will go to the 11th inning. 6-4-3 double play because they could not get the stolen base. So Burks will stay in the game to play center field, and Glenn Hoffman will come in and play short. Hoffman bats in the 9th position as a shortstop. Burks stays in the game as a center fielder hitting leadoff. And the Red Sox will need a new pitcher. And coming up for the Twins, it'll be Brunansky, Smalley, and Salas. So they're going to go to Joe Sambito, a lefty out of the bullpen. He will be coming on for the Red Sox, not Giraldi, but Sambito. Not sure about Atherton, whether he comes back or not. He may or may not. But the Red Sox going to the bullpen, for Mr. Sambito. Joe Sambito, a left-hander. Sambito on the real season, 2-6 with a 6.93 earned run average. On the replay, Sambito is 0-2, but he does have 2 saves, which he had none in real world, and a 6.46 ERA. So he's pretty close where he needs to be. So Sambito back out, and we'll see what he can do against Brunansky, Smalley, and Salas. So we got righty, switch, and a lefty. So Brunansky will start it off against Sambito in the top of the 11th. It's 2-4, and that's a pop out to first base for Mr. Buckner, and there's one away. Roy Smalley, the batter, but he will not bat. They will call him back, and they will have Gary Gaetti. They were hoping to give Gaetti the whole day off, but they're going to bring Gaetti in now, and of course he will stay in the game to play third base in the bottom of the inning. So Gaetti will pinch hit in the 11th and play third base in the 11th. Mr. Gaetti. And we'll get the numbers on Gaetti on the computer and check him against his replay in real world. On the real season, Gaetti, 257 hitter with 31 home runs. On the replay, he's hitting 252 with 13 home runs at this point against Joe Sambito. That's a 5-7, and that's going to be a 1-4 single. 5-20, he lines to short. That is a 2, so that is a base hit for Gary Gaetti. Gary Gaetti with the base hit. No threat to, well, he is actually a threat to run. I didn't think he would steal bases, but they got the asterisk there. Let me check his stolen base prowess in the real season. He stole 10 bases, got caught 7 times. In the replay, let's see, he has stolen 3 bases without being caught. So he's going to try for the lead. Sambito, though, is a -5 on the hold, so it may not be a good idea. Yeah, they're not going to try for the lead because that would be a 1-8, and that would be ridiculous. So Gaetti will be held on, but he won't go anywhere. And we'll also get a pinch hitter now from Mark Salas. With the lefty on the mound, they will go to the right-handed catcher, a right-handed hitter, rather, Mark Davidson. And then they will use Laudner to catch. But Laudner is a terrible hitter, so they're going to go with Davidson to hit. Davidson will be the pinch hitter, and then Laudner will catch in the bottom of the 11th. So Davidson gets the pinch hitting call for the left-handed hitting catcher Salas. And then Laudner will come in and catch in the bottom of the 11th. So Davidson, a 267 hitter on the real season. Not much in the way of power, only 1 home run, but he is a pretty decent hitter at 267. So we'll bring him on the Strat computer to pinch hit for Salas. And then once Laudner comes in the game to catch in the bottom of the inning, that'll leave Bush and Newman as the 2 bench players left for the Twins. So Sambito facing Mark Davidson with a runner at first. Davidson on the replay is hitting 222 and 63 at bats. He had 267 real world. Gaetti, of course, not being held. It's a 3-3 against the left-hander, and he's going to line it to first base, snagged by Buckner. Getting back is Gaetti. So there's 2 away, and that'll bring up Greg Gagne. .65 for Sambito to Gagne is a strikeout. He's not tired. It's his first inning of work, so he's not tired. So it is a strikeout to end the inning. And so Sambito pitches a scoreless top of the 11th. Now for the Twins, Atherton could be looking at his 3rd inning of work as well. He's going to be facing Boggs, Rice, and Greenwell. But he's going to be in his 3rd inning of work. We'll be looking for fatigue, checking for fatigue possibilities as well. But first on the computer, we have to bring in Laudner to catch. And then insert Gaetti at 3rd base. So they get a big upgrade defensively at 3rd base. No question about that. They got to deal with Wade Boggs, who is 4 for 5 for Wade Boggs. 6'8", and that is a 1-3 double. 4-20 is a single. That's a base hit. Boggs now 5 for 6. Oops, wrong spot. 5 for 6 now for Boggs. 5 out of 6. Could not get the elusive triple, though. Boggs not much of a runner, but boy, I don't think you want to pinch run for him. You want to keep him in the game as long as possible. I mean, I guess they could pinch run for him, but if it goes 14 to 15 innings, you want him in there. So I think they're going to leave him in there. Here's Jim Rice. It would be a bunt situation, but when's the last time Jim Rice bunted? So they're going to have him swing away, obviously, against Atherton. 2-10 for Rice, and that is a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, 5-4-3 around the horn. And that's a big double play for Keith Atherton and the Twins. 2 quick outs and the bases are clear. We're looking like a possibility of going to the 12th. That's definitely in the realm of possibilities, unless Mike Greenwell does something. 2-5 for Greenwell. He just might. 2-5 for Greenwell is a ballpark blast. A 1-7, but that's an 8. So how do you like that? Fenway Park, not quite friendly enough for the home runs for left-handed hitters. Had he been a righty, it would have been gone. But look at it again, 2-5. Ballpark blast, 1-7, and that's an 8. So just a deep fly to right field. Bernansky fields it, and we go to the 12th. Sambito is going to do the, I don't think they risk Sambito. I think they're going to bring in Calvin Schiraldi right here. So Schiraldi, and they could bring in Gardner in a pinch because he only went 2 innings last time. So, but they're going to bring in Calvin Schiraldi to pitch. Schiraldi is a +4 on the whole, makes him a +3. Schiraldi, their closer, if you want to call it that, I guess. We'll get his numbers on the replay. It's not a save situation anymore, so no sense holding him any longer. So Schiraldi, definitely well rested. He hasn't pitched that much because the Red Sox haven't been ahead that much. On the real season, 8-5 with a 4.41 ERA and 6 saves. On the replay, 2-3 with a 5.40 and 3 saves. So Schiraldi, I'll go ahead and I'm going to have to bring it over here now because we're running out of room over here. So Schiraldi will face the top of the order, Gladden, Lombardozzi, and Puckett to start the top of the 12th. And Gladden, 2 for 5 on the game against Mr. Schiraldi now. 4-8 for Schiraldi is a strikeout. So he gets the K on Dan Gladden. Just big out to get there to get that lead runner out of there. Lombardozzi, I think he's going to be called back, and we may have Al Newman come in and pinch hit. Al Newman's not much of a better pinch hitter, though. Boy, he's just not very good. No, you know what? They're going to keep Lombardozzi because Newman's just not that good. Newman hits worse than Lombardozzi. I know he's a switch hitter, but he hits worse. Hey, Canadian, yeah, we're in extra innings. I thought it was going to be like a 12-12 game the way it started out, but we got zeros the last 5 innings. The bullpens for both teams have held up. Lombardozzi, 3-8, and that's a ground ball to third. Wade Boggs will handle it. And quickly 2 away. And that'll send up Kirby Puckett. Puckett homered is to lead off in the first inning. Has gone hitless since. 3-7, and he's going to strike out. So good outing there in the first inning of his relief work for Calvin Schiraldi. He puts a goose egg on the board. We go to the bottom of the 12th. Do they trust Atherton to go anymore? I think we've gone with Atherton. He's went 3 innings. That's about as far as I want to go with him. So Atherton's going to go 3 innings as well. We need a new pitcher for the Twins. So let's first of all finish up the Puckett at bat on the computer, and now we need to bring in a new pitcher for the Twins against Evans. It'll be Evans, Buckner, and Gedman due up. And the only guy left is Jeff Reardon because George Frazier pitched 4 innings in yesterday's game. So it would be a national emergency to have to bring him in. So they're going to bring in Jeff Reardon. It's not a save situation, but they don't have much choice with who they have on the bench and in their bullpen, rather. So it'll be the closer, Jeff Reardon, coming on for the Twins because you really can't expect Atherton to go any further than that. So Reardon is coming on, and we'll close the book on Atherton. Get his numbers off the computer. He had been struggling all season, but he certainly had a good outing here. He goes 3 innings, gives up just 1 hit, and of course the no runs. And he walked 1, struck out 2. So Reardon will be facing Evans, Buckner, and Gedman. We'll get the numbers off the computer. And actually a very tight game, 7-11-2 for the Twins, 7-10-0 for the Red Sox to this point. Reardon on the real season, 8-8 with a 4.48 ERA and 31 saves. In the replay rather, he's 2-1. His ERA's dropped by a whole number, 3.38 and 8 saves. So he's done much better on the replay than he has on the they did in real world. And he'll be facing Evans, Buckner, and Gedman due up. Evans has walked 3 times and struck out, so he's only put the ball in play once. But he did draw 3 walks, which is interesting. 5-5, and that's a strikeout for Reardon to start the bottom of the 12th. We go to Billy Buck. Buckner, 0 for 4. Did walk, 2-8, and now he's 0 for 5 on a pop out to short. Pop out to short. 2 down for Rich Gedman. It's a 6-6 left-hander, and that's a strikeout. So Reardon pitches a 1-2-3 12th inning. We go to the 13th inning, and Schiraldi will be back out, and he'll be facing Herbeck, Larkin, and Brunansky due up for the Twins against Calvin Schiraldi. Both closers are in the game, and they're going to go basically as long as they can, I guess. Here's Schiraldi. He'll be facing Herbeck. We get a 2-7 for Herbeck, and that is a 1-11 double. That's a 10. It'll be a double for Kent Herbeck. So we make this the 13th inning here. And Herbeck will double. Leadoff double, and that brings up Gene Larkin. Red Sox have Wes Gardner in the bullpen if they need him, but they're going to trust Schiraldi can go 2 innings possibly. It's a 5-7 switch hitter batting left, and that's a walk. So the first 2 are on for the Twins, and it brings up Brunansky. Normally you'd have a bunt situation here, but Brunansky's a terrible bunter. So they're going to have him swing away. It's a danger. He might hit into a double play, but you just can't have him bunt. There's no way. That's a 1-8, and he's going to actually draw a walk, and it's going to load the bases. So Schiraldi is starting to implode. And now he's tired, so they're going to bring in Wes Gardner. They don't have any choice now. You can't have a tired pitcher out there giving up dot hits. So Wes Gardner will be on to pitch and try to get out of the mess. Wes Chauncey Gardner. I don't know who Chauncey Gardner is, but Chris Berman called him that, so Chauncey Gardner must have been an actor or something. I don't know. But anyway, Gardner in the real season, 3-6 with a 5.42 ERA with 10 saves. In the replays, 1-0 with 1 save and a 6.30 earned run average. So Wes Gardner is going to come on. And against Gary Gaetti, wow, with nobody out, do you play the infield in, or do you sacrifice the run to make sure you get 2 outs and minimize the damage to 1 run? Boy, that's a tough call. They're going to have to play the infield in. I just don't think they can. I mean, if you give up 2 or 3 runs, so be it. But I don't think you can just give up a run haphazardly, especially against Jeff Reardon, the closer. So Gardner's in, and he's going to pitch to Gaetti with the infield in. Sambito can't close the. Well, he could close the book on Sambito. Sambito went 1 inning. Gave up a hit, nothing else with a strikeout. Can't close the book on Schiraldi. He goes 1+, giving up 2 walks and a hit, striking out 2, but he's responsible for all 3 runs. So now Wes Gardner is on. He is a -5 hold, but I don't think that's going to really matter in this situation. Infield is in. Infield is in. 2-8 for Gaetti. It's a strikeout. That was huge to get the strikeout on Gaetti. And now a double play can get you out of the inning. And you got a good double play candidate in Tim Laudner. This will be his first at bat since they pinch hit for the catcher, and he came in for defensive purposes. So Laudner is up. That's a 1, though. So Wes Gardner, we'll check his wild pitch rating. Wes Gardner's wild pitch rating is a 9. Wild pitch rating of 9. So this could be troublesome as well. Oops, get over here. And just so you can see it, let's get the ring light off here. I will show it to you. This critical stage, and get this light off, this glare off of here. You see that's Wes Gardner, his computer card, and a wild pitch. Boy, if it's not going to ever focus in right. Can I get it to focus? Man, it's terrible. Why won't it focus? I can't get this thing to focus worth a crap. Trust me, it's a 9 there on the wild pitch. So I tried to show it, just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But oh well. When you're low tech, that's what happens. So it can happen that way. But it is a 9 for the wild pitch. So let's see if we get a wild pitch or not. We do not. It's blocked. So it's a moot point, as it turns out, because there was no wild pitch. So now Gardner, with that out of the way, we'll see if he can turn a double play on Laudner. 4-4. This is bad. That's a ballpark blast, but it's a 19, so he gets saved by the 19 because that would have been a grand salami on anything 10 or less. It's a 19. It will be a sacrifice fly, but that's minimal damage compared to what it would have been. And scoring is Herbeck to take the lead. So the sacrifice fly off the bat of Tim Laudner gives the Twins now an 8-7 lead, but it could have been 11-7 real quick. That run is charged, of course, to Schiraldi. And now Gardner has to get Gagne to keep this damage down to 1 run. 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X, so that's going to be the new shortstop Hoffman. And Hoffman is a 3E12 on his defensive ratings. He's a 3E12 as a shortstop. 3 and a 15, he'll get to that. We're just checking the E12. E12, and that is an 11. So the shortstop E12, there is no 11. So the play is made. And the inning is over, but the run comes in here in the 13th inning. And the Twins now lead at 8-7. Charge Schiraldi with the 1 run. And now Reardon's coming in to try to get the victory. Wouldn't be the save, it'd be the win. Scheduled hitter is Hoffman at shortstop. They could obviously go to a pinch hitter here because Hoffman was just a 200 hitter. So he won't be facing Hoffman. They'll go to their bench. They need somebody better than that. So we'll see who they go to. And I don't know why this thing didn't do what it was supposed to do, but whatever. Try it again just to show you guys that that's what it was. If I can get this thing to line up here. I don't know if I can get it to do any better, though. That's the problem. That is a 9 there. I don't know if, like I said, low tech, so I tried to show it off the computer. It just didn't work out as a good picture. Don't know why, but it didn't. Maybe I can try it. Let me try it this way. Let me do this real quick. Maybe it comes up better in this direction. Let's see here. I'm thinking that does better. So let's see here. Let's see if that shows up better here. Wes Gardner. Boy, I think still doesn't want to show up for it because it's so light. The problem is it's such a light font there in pink, you can't really see. So this would be a good ID gesture rant for the Strat computer not being able to see stuff, but whatever. Just have to take my word for it, I guess. All right, so we need a pinch hitter for Hoffman because he's not going to hit. So we're going to need a pinch hitter for Glenn Hoffman. Let's see who's on the bench for the Red Sox. Let's take a look here. They're going to use Ed Romero. So Ed Romero is going to pinch hit. He is a 272 hitter, which is much better than Hoffman's 200. So Romero will pinch hit, and if it does go to the next inning, he can play shortstop, obviously. But he was a 272 hitter real world. So Ed Romero will get the pinch hitting call. Romero to pinch hit here in the 13th inning. I almost said 16th. Gosh, I hope it doesn't go 16 innings. I don't think I could take it. All right, so Romero is in as a pinch hitter against Jeff Reardon. It is a 6-6, and that's a strikeout, so it didn't matter who they have because it went off the pitcher card. So Romero is out on strikes. Flip the order over to Ellis Burks. This will be his first at bat since coming in as a pinch runner for Henderson. Ellis Burks, a 272 hitter with 20 home runs. That's what he did in real world. On the replays, hitting 242 with 6 home runs. So not a bad option. Better average than what Mr. Henderson had. So Burks with his very first at bat. 5-6, but it doesn't matter. Reardon struck him out. Boy, Jeff Reardon is on it today as he strikes out. Now that's 4 of the 5 batters he's faced. He is put away with strikeouts. And now it's up to Marty Barrett to keep it going. And there's nobody left on the bench for the Red Sox except for backup catcher Mark Sullivan. And he's a terrible hitter. So who they have out there now is who they're going to have to live with. Barrett on the game. It does have 2 hits, but he's also hitting 2 double plays. Drew a walk, scored a couple runs. It's a 1-6, and he's going to ground it to Gagne at short, and there's your ball game. So in 13 innings, the Twins outlast the Red Sox by the score of 8-7. And that helps the Twins, obviously, in the American League West standings. Red Sox are so far gone, it doesn't matter. But it does help the Twins. Reardon's going to go 2 innings, and he will get the win. He improves to 3-1 with that win. Giraldi took the loss. He's now 2-4. Gardner went 1 inning. Actually pitched well. He just gave up the sacrifice fly, but with bases loaded, nobody out, to only give up 1 run, you actually did a pretty good job. Reardon went 2 innings, didn't give up anything, struck out 4 to get that win. So total line score, 8 runs, 12 hits, and 2 errors for the Twins. 7 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Red Sox. Boy, if you had to get a player of the game, Kent Herbeck is a logical choice. He had a home run in the first inning, and he had the double to lead off the 13th, so he's actually a logical choice. Could give it to Reardon. I mean, 2 shutdown innings, but I think I'll give it to Kent Herbeck because I usually like to give it to a position player when possible. So we'll give it to Kent Herbeck with his 2-for-4 performance. He was also walked twice, but he had the home run for the second run of the game, and he had the double that started the rally in the top of the 13th. So there you go. Twins now improved to 25-27. So as I look at the standings in the American League West, 25-27, the Twins are now tied with California for 4th place at 4 games back. They were 27 and 25 real world at this time, so they're only 2 games off their pace. But they're only 4 games behind Oakland. And speaking of Oakland, speaking of the Oakland A's, they will be playing against the Baltimore Orioles later in this week. But the next game on the schedule is actually going to come from Toronto. It'll be actually should be game 350, not 349. So I've already played 349. This was miscast. It should be 350 because we just played game 349. But game 350 will be Toronto and Seattle. Pretty good pitching matchup. Mark Langston against Dave Stieb. That will be actually tonight. I'm actually going to play a night game. I was going to do a doubleheader, but especially after this 13-inning game, I don't think I can stand a doubleheader right now. So we're going to play this tonight around 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere probably in that neighborhood, probably closer to 8 o'clock. I'm thinking 8 o'clock is my target date or target time tonight. Toronto and Seattle. Tomorrow morning will be Baltimore hosting Oakland. Oakland trying to hold on a 2.5 game lead over the White Sox in the West. Here in the East, though, Toronto is 2 games back of Milwaukee and a half game back of the Yankees. So if they win, they will keep pace with the Yankees and be 1.5 games behind the Brewers. So that's the game for tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm going to try a prime time for the 1987 season and see how that draws, because a lot of people that are working and whatnot don't necessarily get a chance to watch the live stream during the mornings. So I'll give it a chance here and see how it goes, what kind of audience I get and what kind of reception I get. And if it seems like I ought to stick to the mornings, I'll stick to the mornings. If it's something where maybe I'll, put a game in the evenings once in a while, I can do that. We'll see how it plays out. But I do thank you all for spending part of your Tuesday morning with me. Like I said, I am in the work and am debating about what to do for my other thing other than Strat. I'm leaning towards History Maker Baseball, but it could be something else as well. We'll have to wait and see. But tonight will be this game here, Toronto and Seattle. Mark Langston against Dave Stieb. That'll be tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. So thank you all for joining me. Have a great rest of your afternoon or rest of your morning, and almost into the afternoon. It's about 11, almost 11, 11:17 is what I got on my phone. So, yeah, we're going to do some fictional stuff with History Maker Baseball. So, we're going to give that a go at some point. I ordered like I said, I ordered the PDFs of those fictional sets. So, oh, you got the Leap set. Okay. But I did when they had their 777 sale over the weekend. I did order the PDF for the first. I think it comes up with the first 6 seasons. So for $14, I got the first 6 seasons of the Baseball America set, because they came in each PDF had 3 seasons on it. So for $7, you got 3 seasons. So for $14, I got 6 seasons. And that starts from 2013 all the way up through 2018. And then 2019, I have myself already because that's basically when I started ordering those sets. So those already didn't need those on PDF, already on the printed stuff. So, yeah, it's something different. I mean, like it's open sandbox kind of thing. It's completely different than Strat, where Strat is just straight arrow right down the middle of statistical stuff. The other, History Maker is more, it's a game. It's not really a simulation, although it does simulate very well, but it's mainly the gist of it and the pull of it and the appeal of it is the fact that it's a game. You just have to play, it's like a board game you would play like Stratego or something, but you're playing baseball. It's not a war game or anything like that. You're actually playing baseball. So, yeah, it does well with the major league stuff, but I think it's the wheelhouse for that is a fictional thing. And that way you can create you don't have to worry about, this guy would never bat leadoff. You just create your own lineups and nobody can tell you you're right or wrong because nothing ever happened with it. So anyway, that's good to go from here. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Hopefully it's not as rainy and nasty in your area like it is here. It's a good day for me to stay in and probably print off some PDFs and see what's going on here. I also got in that bundle. They had like just miscellaneous mystery stuff, and one of the things in the bundle was the NASCAR set, NASCAR season, I should say. I think from 2002, I want to say. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I do and did a couple times play the red, white, and blue racing game, which was very, very, pretty fun game actually. I haven't played in a while to go back and relearn it, but it could be something to do that would obviously be different to put a racing game on there. Let's see, which was that? Red, white, and blue. Oh, it was 2011. I'm sorry, 2011 season is what they had. 2011 season is what they had. So that's something to, if you've never seen red, white, and blue racing, it's like a NASCAR board game kind of thing. That's something I might lean into just to be different, put some variety out there. But you never know. Depends on what I'm feeling and what other people seem to want to watch or not watch. So sometimes it's like, everything else, you throw something on the wall and see what sticks. So, but we know something that's going to stick is Strat-O-Matic. It always does. Can never fail with Strat-O-Matic. I mean, that's pretty standard stuff there with Strat-O-Matic. That's the old reliable, as we call it. So tomorrow morning we'll definitely back with that. But tonight will be a rare primetime game for the 1987 set, or 1887 season, I should say. And it'll be Toronto and Seattle. So that'll be tonight around 8 o'clock Eastern. If you can join me for that, that'd be great. If you're more of a morning person, that's fine. Tomorrow morning we'll be in Baltimore for the Oakland A's and the Baltimore Orioles from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And as usual, I will see you all down the road.